Big Leagues podcast back with another video here. We got a big playoff matchup this week in the NFL. We got the Chiefs versus Bills in a rematch of that legendary game from a few years ago. The Chiefs are underdogs at plus 125. Bills minus 150 favorites. Bills are going to be the home team, and we got a face off between the top two QBs in the NFL, in my opinion, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. Isaac, what are you thinking on this game?
First thoughts. I wouldn't have the Chiefs as underdogs personally. I think that's a little criminal. But Chiefs defense against the Dolphins. I know the weather is pretty bad, but held them under 10 points. The most explosive offense all year, and they've played big. They've played big in big games all year. And my initial thoughts on taking Chiefs because first of all, I'm not betting against Patty Mahomes, and the way their defense is playing, I just think in the playoffs, that's what just gets you over the hump. Great defense and a top tier QB.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about their receiver room being dog shit, but Rashee Rice has kind of been breaking out and had another big game in the playoffs. And I also think Kelsey's kind of due for a big game. I feel like he's been relatively quiet the last few weeks, and against he was also pretty quiet. So I'm leaning Chiefs right away. Kind of, that's what I'm thinking. Who do you got? Just first thoughts.
Yeah, I gotta go Chiefs. I'd be lying if I said I don't have some action on the Chiefs here this week as dogs. I mean, the Bills just haven't impressed me that much. I mean, they've been good, they've been winning games, but they played the Steelers last week in the playoffs, and they let them hang around when the Steelers really had no business hanging around. Like, I wasn't expecting them to win that game at all. I was just excited to kind of watch the game with my buddy there. He's a Bills fan, and we were watching the game, and I had pretty low expectations, and they started off shit, but then they started to kind of hang around and get my hopes up. So it's just like, if you're gonna let Mahomes hang around, like it's just gonna bite you in the ass. I mean, that defense I think is legit, and you got, like, in my opinion, the most talented quarterback to ever play the sport. He's already got championship experience. The one thing, Bills are at home. That's got to mean something, I guess. And I think the Bills, they got to take this personal.
Yeah, they definitely. I honestly think if they lose this game, like this, the end of this Bills constructed team. I think Diggs is. I think it's been so many times where Diggs been frustrated with the team and frustrated after a playoff loss. I think if they lose, Diggs is probably gone, and
McDermott gone.
Safe to say. What has he done? I think
I would fire him if they lose this game.
Honestly, a pretty solid head coach. I'm not saying it's his fault. If you just keep losing, you got to change something up to try to get you over the hump.
And, I don't think he's done in the league. I think another team will hire him up pretty. They'd be pretty happy about it. But especially with some of the coaches on the block, on the market here, I think if another playoff failure, I think you fire him and see if you can bring in if you bring in someone like Belichick, someone like Mike Vrabel, or even Harbaugh or Pete Carroll or someone just some coach with a lot of experience and just expertise that are one of the best coaches. So I think that would be a possible move. I'd like to see them keep Diggs if they can. Maybe fire McDermott would keep him around, but there has been a lot of rumblings about him being unhappy, but hopefully they keep him.
It kind of depends. I feel like if they get the doors blown off, I feel like it'd be a lot harder to commit. But if they lose another shootout in overtime where Diggs has 2 touchdowns, 100 and some yards, it'd be a lot easier to convince them to stay. But I think the Bills have won 6 games in a row, but I feel like they've kind of been, their defense has kind of been playing better than it is because they're down a lot of guys. Tre'Davious.
No, yeah, that's the thing.
Rasul Douglas has been stepping up as a top corner.
Open.
Is that really going to continue against Patty Mahomes? I just feel.
Is he banged up? Something tells me he's a little banged up. I don't know. His availability might be iffy. I'll look that up here while you talk.
Yeah, I'm basically thinking the Bills, even though they lost all their guys, or not all their guys, but a lot of their top tier players on their defense has played a lot better than they did at the start of the year when they had all their top guys. So.
Yeah.
I feel like it's hard to keep continuing that, and the deeper you go in the playoffs, the more you kind of see what teams are really like, and I think the Chiefs are. I think the Chiefs are getting hot now. Like, I think that Miami game was kind of a flawless game by the Chiefs. Terrible weather. The offense still was kind of moving at a good pace. Pacheco was getting like the runs in the cold weather, like early. He was kind of just, they were stuffing it down the Dolphins' throats. And I think I'm not sure how the weather's going to be in Buffalo. Imagine it won't be, sunshine.
Yeah, that's one thing to factor in too. Like, well, they had to postpone that game because it was a freaking
Yeah.
blizzard, but um, we'll see what the conditions are like. I would expect it to probably be cold, but
Yeah.
not expecting it to be like a snowstorm or anything again. Hopefully.
I just think the Chiefs win the game in the trenches. I think their D line with Chris Jones is just
Hmm.
so dominant. And also their offensive line, like Creed Humphrey, like
Yeah.
he's underrated. Like when being talked about, like Jason Kelsey in the run game, like they can pull him. He's good in pass protection and run blocking. I think they win the game in the trenches, and I just think Mahomes owns Josh Allen when it comes down to it. All due respect, but
Hmm. Yeah. I mean,
uh,
yeah, like Humphrey's definitely like I'd say a top three center, and
yeah,
Joe Tooney too at guard
yeah,
is
like
high level.
namely.
Like another thing too that's impressive with the Chiefs is I really like the Chiefs corners. They got
Oh,
L'Jarius Sneed and Trent
well,
McDuffie. They
Snead,
both really good corners. Sneed shut
put up,
down
Snead put up,
Tyreek Hill.
except for that. I'm not even sure if he was covering for that long touchdown, but like you saw the clips, even Tyreek was like joking about it when he got like pressed into the ground and like he came and like hit him. But Snead's always been, I feel, underrated. Like since he's been in the league, like, and been in Kansas City, he's been a pretty shut down corner. Like he's like an elite guy that doesn't get talked about. Like, oh
Yeah, I would definitely say he's underrated, but
yeah,
that's the thing that's kind of allowing the Chiefs to stick around here is their draftings. I mean, they've kind of struck out with the wide receiver too. Like that Clyde Edwards-Helaire pick wasn't great, and
but
Sky Moore was not the best, but like Rashee Rice is decent, not like nothing elite, but I
I
think
think
he's good. Like,
yeah.
and then just some of those picks on D, like McDuffie and Karlaftis and stuff, just allows them to stay in it.
I think you even saw with like kind of the Rams kind of did it too. Like the Chiefs and Rams both kind of just hit on third round, fourth round, fifth round picks, and they just kind of plugged them into their defense and their offensive line, and kind of just paid the high price for the skill guy. Not really the Chiefs anymore, but paid the high price for the skill guys, and they kind of just made it work. Like the low round picks kind of stepped up and played into their role. The pressure's on them. They've kind of stepped. Like I feel like they've just scouted really well, found like late gems, and I think that's kind of what has kept the Chiefs defense like so consistent.
And it's one thing too. They're kind of entering like a new era here now that Tyreek's gone and Kelsey's aging.
Yeah,
They're kind of shifting their focus now. Okay, let's build up our O line to be elite. Let's bring in Pacheco in the seventh round, and he's a really good running
yeah,
back. And then let's focus it on defense. And it's kind of reminds me a lot of some of the Brady teams where okay, like they got Randy Moss and all those other weapons they got, and then a couple years down the road, like they just bring in like a great defense and
yeah.
get Brady to win with what he's got and play to their strengths. So I think the Chiefs can continue this for a few years, and I just don't. I just think they're. I think they got the Bills' number.
I think they do too, and I feel like the Bills lost be playing with a lot of emotion because like the Chiefs have sent them home in that game, and I just think it's just so personal to the Bills because the Chiefs are really like their main rival, and I think they're going to come out like it could work in their favor. They could come out like if they come out strong. I mean, like I'm not counting the Bills out at all. Definitely, like
No.
it's going to be a close game, but I just think if it's a close game, Mahomes just finds a way to get it done, and like even though the Bills beat them this year, if Kadarius Toney's an inch back, like they lose that game probably. They got a minute left, whatever, to go down and score. But I don't know. I got a good feeling about the Chiefs, and I think they're going back to the Super Bowl personally.
Yeah. I guess we'll quickly just touch through the other couple quick matchups here. Starting off on Saturday, we got Texans versus Ravens. Ravens minus 450 favorites. Texans plus 350 dogs.
I mean, with this one, I'll be pretty quick to the point. I mean, CJ Stroud, phenomenal year. You're going to Cancun. Hope the weather's good down there. I mean, I'm honestly like, as a Panthers fan, it kills me to say it, but CJ Stroud's looking like he's gonna be some guy, and like he already is that guy, and he's kind of just, even with kind of the Texans last few years been dog shit, but Nico Collins in that game against the Browns, like I had him in fantasy, and I knew he's good, but I wasn't familiar with his game. Like watching him, like the man is big, and he's Mike Evans 2.0. Like the man's good, and I got a lot of good things to say about the Texans, but the Ravens are just probably the second most complete team in football, and they're hot. They're the 1 seed. Mark Andrews is coming back. I mean,
Yeah,
everything points to Ravens are getting it done, and like it'd be a miracle if the Texans won. Like, all due respect, I don't
yeah.
know if you kind of see
I
it this.
I more or less agree. I mean, like the Ravens are kind of been in like a juggernaut this year, so I don't like it'd be kind of stupid not to pick them. But I don't know. Like I could see the Texans being frisky. Like I wouldn't be flabbergasted if they won.
Yeah,
I think, but like if you had to tie me down and make me make a pick, I think I'd pick Ravens.
okay.
And then next up we got Packers at 49ers. 49ers minus 450. Packers plus 350.
And me and you kind of look foolish because I believe we both said there's no way that the Cowboys lose to the Packers. So, but somehow, Cowboys gonna cowboy and choke. But, I'll say it again. There ain't no way the 49ers are losing to the Packers. Like, there ain't no chance. I mean, Jordan Love was being called a bum like halfway through the season, turned it up. Like, now he's looking like the new Aaron Rodgers, the new Brett Favre. Like, the Packers did it again. But I mean, the 49ers are the 49ers. Like they're not losing this game. Like they're too damn good. And I mean, that's all I got to really say. Like they're
Yeah.
just they're just goated, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I was one of those guys that I was kind of writing Love off, to be honest, midway through the year, but
Yeah.
he's impressed me a lot the the last like, couple of weeks, especially that playoff game. I
Yeah.
mean, I did have him in fantasy, and he was kind of letting me down. Cause was a part of a cause of why I had to do our punishment. That we might get to see some video footage of that, but
Yeah.
so I could be a bit biased there. But no, he's definitely impressed me. Has he impressed me enough to think he could take down the 49ers? No. 49ers are both of our Super Bowl picks, I believe.
Yeah.
They're just such a complete team. Uh, don't want to go down the same path as last time, but I just don't see them losing, like you said.
And then the next we kind of gotta somehow the Bucks man, but Bucks Lions. What are you thinking for that?
Yeah, so Lions are minus 290 favorites, Bucks plus 235. Like I want to say Bucks, but I don't know. I don't feel great about it. Like it kind of makes me a little queasy to pick them, even though one could say I'm a bit of a Lions hater, but
You're not alone. I'm not. Can't say I'm a fan either.
like I like Dan Campbell. I like a lot of the Lions players, but I just like I'm just get sick of hearing about how great they are when they
Amazing.
haven't done a thing. Like
No.
maybe
And
they go on a run here and make something happen, make me eat my words, but I
yeah.
just don't see them as a Super Bowl team. I'd looked for Mike Evans to have a big game. He dropped like a big touchdown that kind of was a tough look last week, so he's a pretty hit or miss guy. I'd look for him to bounce back. What are you saying?
Like honestly here, like give me Baker. I've been loving what Baker's been doing, and the Bucks, their defense is still, pretty top tier. And I mean, the Lions started off hot against the Rams. They like scored 3 straight. They're out 3 opening drives, but then they were kind of quiet in the second. Like didn't do as much after that, and to end the second quarter they didn't. But I think that if the Bucks D can get some stops, and like I think it's really hit or miss with the Bucks because sometimes their offense, putting up 30 easily, like no problem. But I also watch them, put up 9 points against my Panthers and not really do none. But I just got a feeling that Baker, everyone wrote him off. Like people were saying Kyle Trask was going to start over him. Like Bucks are like it's a 1-year thing, and went out, beat like shocked the world, beat the Eagles. I just feel like Baker just gets it done. Like he's a big time player. I think. Like I think in the big games he comes to play, and I'm my guts just telling me the Bucks here, and I also would love to see the Lions because I don't like them at one bit. But
Yeah, I guess I didn't like officially go on the record I think officially on the record, I think I would say Lions, but like you, I'd love to see them lose.
I'll be wearing my Gronkowski Bucks shirt when I'm praying on the Lions downfall. I'll tell you that for sure.
Yeah. Those are our thoughts on the big playoff games this week.
Yeah.
Excited to watch some more playoff football and
Sure.
see what happens. Hopefully, this Chiefs Bills game is as good as we hope.